that guy to sit. Sit. Who is this guy? Okay, 5, 4.
Thanks for the countdown, Don.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the video monitors as we take a look back at the incredible career of number 10, Eli Manning.
Is this the best case scenario for you here?
I hope so. I think, it's a team that I'd met with, I'd talked with. I like the organization, so I think it'll be a good place, and I think things will work out here.
And from Ole Miss at quarterback, number 10, Eli Manning.
I love the game of football. I'm very passionate about it. I work hard and dedicated to getting better, to watching film, and obviously with dealing with pressure, that's something I've been used to. I've been under the limelight, under pressure a lot, following up and Peyton in my dad's footsteps through everything. So, I'm gonna work hard and do everything I can do, and I don't worry about pressure. It's something I try not to think about.
You got to start fast, finish strong, all right? Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate.
Manning drifts, throws to the end zone, touchdown! Manning being mobbed on the Giants sideline.
And Eli just throws a dime.
Manning's going to roll to his left. Manning's going to run to the 5. Manning to the goal line. Touchdown, Eli Manning. Manning takes the snap. Back to throw. Under pressure. Avoids the rush, and he's going to fight out of it. Still fights out of it. Now throws it deep downfield. Tyree, who makes the catch. Takes the snap. Looks left. Lobs it left. First is wide open. Touchdown, Giants! In the left corner of the end zone. The New York Giants have knocked off the New England Patriots, and the Giants, with the most improbable win in recent memory, have won Super Bowl 42.
Hey Matthew, how you doing, pal? I'm Eli.
I think giving back it's very important. I think when you come and become part of a franchise and part of a city and an area, you see the impact that these organizations are making on people. You visit a hospital and then you ask, how can I help? How can I get involved? And it starts from there. And helping people in some way or form, either get healthy or to get things they need so they can live a better life. And I've been extremely blessed to be able to play football and do it for a living. I want to try to help out some people who are going through a tougher time.
I miss the Asian, and I don't. This is Jaquita.
William.
Go Giants.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you the 2 NFL Walter Payton Men of the Year, Mr. Eli Manning and Mr. Larry Fitzgerald.
I challenge everyone here to help some person in need. You choose, but go out of your way to make a difference in someone's life. I promise you it's worth it.
Manning out of the shotgun set, and he's back to throw. Finds the pocket, deep ball down the left sideline, and it's going to be caught. Was he inbounds? Yes! Manningham on the sideline. The officials say he got his feet in at midfield.
Wow. Still will, the heart of a champion.
And Eli Manning and the Giants have finished off the Patriots in the Super Bowl for the second time in 4 years.
Kind of my take on leadership is kind of understanding the different players, the morale of the team, and how to get the best out of every player.
Let's go win this thing. Throws it left to the end zone. Touchdown, Giants!
What a throw by Manning.
Happy to be out there each and every week with my teammates to be accountable and do my job.
He gets a big hug and a standing ovation here at MetLife Stadium.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. This is certainly a day of very mixed emotions for us. It's sad in one sense because we're seeing the end of an incredible playing career and saying goodbye to someone who has been everything you could ask a player to be, both on and off the field, for the last 16 years. Yet we're also very happy because we get to be here to celebrate that incredible career. And we're also able to witness one of the greatest players in franchise history be able to leave the game on his own terms, having played his whole career as a Giant. something that doesn't always happen in this business. And if anybody deserved that opportunity, it's Eli Manning. For the last 16 years, Eli has meant so much to all of us here at the Giants and also to our fans. We all know about the 2 Super Bowl MVPs and all of the great performances on the field. But just as important was the way he conducted himself on and off the field as the consummate professional, always with dignity, always with class. We all have so many memories of Eli, and I just want to quickly mention 2 of mine. I certainly remember the days leading up to the 2004 NFL Draft when I was constantly in and out of Ernie Accorsi's office or on the phone with him, hoping we could pull off that trade with San Diego. And what a trade it turned out to be, probably the best trade in franchise history. Eli became the face of the franchise, a Super Bowl MVP, and as fine a representative as this team has ever had. Ernie, who's here today, I just want to thank you for having the foresight, the patience, and the guts to pull off that trade and help build those Super Bowl teams. I also remember the last game of the 2004 season, Eli's rookie year, when he took us down the field at the end of the game in the closing seconds to beat Dallas. It was the last game my father ever saw, and I can remember walking to the locker room with him afterwards and him saying to me, "I think we found our guy," and how right he was. I want to acknowledge a number of Eli's past and present teammates, a lot of whom are here today, all of whom played a huge part in his career. I can't mention all of you because I know I'll forget somebody, but thank you for being here. And Tom Coughlin, our great coach, who led us to those 2 Super Bowls and who was so instrumental in Eli's success. I also want to acknowledge my partner, Steve Tisch, who wanted desperately to be here today, but is under the weather and was unable to fly. Fortunately, Lori Tisch is here today to represent the Tisch family. Eli, Steve did tell me that he has some movie roles in store for you. You obviously made an impression on him with your fine acting and all those commercials that you did. He specifically mentioned, by the way, co-starring in Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington. So I guess I missed Equalizer 1 and 2, but I'm sure going to catch number 3 if you're in it. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Olivia and Archie Manning for raising such an outstanding son, and to Abby for being so supportive of Eli for all these years. We would not be standing here today celebrating his great career if not for everything you guys did. And finally, Eli, what more can I say? Thank you for everything you've done for the New York Giants for the last 16 years, for being such a role model for our players, for our fans, and for everything you've done in the community. We have this game ball to present to you, which attempts to list all of your accomplishments. I'm not sure we got them all in there, but you will always be the ultimate Giant, and we would be honored to induct you into our Ring of Honor next season. And please know this, no Giant will ever wear number 10 again.
Good morning, and thanks for coming. This sport has very few real farewells. But as the clock ran down on our win against the Dolphins this season, I ran to my favorite place in the stadium, the tunnel. I waved to our loyal fans, and then Abby and my kids ran out to meet me. That was my farewell, and a moment I'll cherish forever. There won't be any more tunnel moments for me, and I'll truly miss them. I'll miss standing in the shadows, staring out into the field before a game, surrounded by my teammates, and knowing all the hard work we put in. I'll miss hearing the first roar of the crowd, triggering the knowledge that we had been given one more opportunity to go win a football game. It's impossible to explain the satisfaction, actually the joy I've experienced being a Giant. From the very first moment, I did it my way. I couldn't be someone other than who I am. Undoubtedly, I would have made the fans, the media, even the front office more comfortable if I was a more rah-rah guy. But that's not me. Ultimately, I choose to believe that my teammates and the fans learned to appreciate that. They knew what they got was pure, unadulterated Eli. I don't have any regrets, and I won't look in the rearview mirror. Would we have liked to have won more games or championships? Of course we would have. There were tough times that I learned and grew from, but I always knew the level of effort and sacrifice that my teammates and coaches made. We did all we could do every week. I choose to leave this game with only positive memories. Why harp on the not-so-proud moments? Where's the value in that? If there are going to be endless echoes, choose the good ones. For now, I'll focus on the touchdowns, the wins, celebrations with teammates, family, and friends, and sharing a cold beer in the back of a bus after a big game. I'll remember the OTAs and training camps. I'll remember the special people that make this organization what it is. During the past 16 years, many of the faces have not changed. From the film people, the equipment managers, the community relations department, and those in the cafeteria and the training room. Each of them have become like family to me. I've watched as they've gotten married, and I've seen their kids grow. I'll miss the people, and I'll miss the life experiences that we've shared. I'll remember conversations with coaches, game planning, and meeting rooms. Those are unique memories that I treasure, and ones I'll relive with teammates for decades from now. When you win championships, you have a special, unbreakable bond with teammates. When you see them, you give them a hug, and you hold it just a little bit longer because of that unique connection with those special people. Many became friends that will last a lifetime. I was excited to come to New York. When I make a decision, I'm determined to make it work. Abby and I became active members in our community, whether as parent volunteers for our kids' sports teams or supporters of local charities like Tackle Kids Cancer, March of Dimes, and Guiding Eyes for the Blind. I don't have a single regret, and ultimately, I think that it worked out for you and for me. We supported our community in the past, today, and since we're going to be sticking around here, we'll continue to support this community in the future. It's rare to have the privilege of playing an entire career with one organization. I'm proud to be one of the few, but even more so that it was as a Giant. There are a few people that I want to thank. Of course, the mayor and the Tisch family. You can be confident that no one has loved and appreciated wearing the Giants uniform more than I have, and that will never change. To Ernie Accorsi, 16 years ago, Ernie made the trade that made me a Giant for life. Thank you so much. To Coach Tom Coughlin, thanks for teaching me the work ethic, the discipline, and the value of team above all else mentality. To Coach Kevin Gilbride, thanks for always having my back and trusting and supporting me through my entire career. And of course, to all my teammates, if I named them all, it would take forever and no one would recognize me if I did. What I will say is that the best thing about playing all these years is the number of teammates that I can call real friends. And of all those friends, I'm lucky enough to have a few that have become as close as brothers. And of course, my family. I don't think I need to make public comments for my family to know how I think about them. But Abby, and to Ava and Lucy and Caroline and Charlie, you are my rock. And to the Giants fans, you are definitely unique, but I love you for that. I'm walking away today feeling like a New Yorker, well, at least a Northeasterner. And that says a lot about a guy from New Orleans who went to Ole Miss. Since I've only been here, I'm biased when I say that the New York Giants are the greatest organization in the NFL in how they treat players, coaches, and personnel. The team's driving commitment to win football games. It's a rarity, but here, team always comes first. It's been an honor to be a part of this family, and I hope that I've represented the organization in the way that you wanted me to from my first day to my last. For most of my life, people have called me easy. Believe me, there is nothing easy about today. Wellington Mara always said, once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant. Thank you so much.
Okay. We will now take photos with family and ownership. Okay, will all the players, all former players and current players, please approach the stage. And all former coaches. Ready? Eli will now take questions from the media at the podium.
What? Yeah, yeah.
Just tell them to raise their hand, stick their name out there.
To ask a question, please raise your hand and you will be handed wireless mics.
Ready?
Eli, congratulations on your career in this
Thank
day. Just curious, why retire now instead of pursue opportunities? Because you had kind of indicated you felt like you had something left to give.
Well, I think it was important to me to go out as a Giant. And I think when you get drafted and you come to an organization, I think that's always your goal, to stay with one organization your entire career. As you get towards the end of it, it doesn't always work out that way, and you still have desires to play sometime. But I think it was important. The fans, this organization, this family with the Giants has been so remarkable. I think it was the right thing to call it a career and to end it instead of trying to uproot my family and leave and try somewhere else. This was the right decision, and I know it is, and I'm at peace with it. I think that's what has made this day a little bit easier.
Eli, congratulations. Over here. I just want to see, how much pride did you take in your durability? Obviously, never missing a start. And was there any game that it was close that you might have missed?
There were a couple games where it was close. It was, didn't practice most of the week. Maybe went out on a Friday for the first time. But, I think it's more, I think what it was a lot about just trying to be there for your teammates. And you always saw guys playing through injuries. You saw offensive linemen, guys that were sore, that were beat up, running backs that were sore every week, but they did what they could, to be there for their teammates, for their ownership, their coaches. And so that's really what it was more about. I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want them to know they were working and doing everything. And so I knew I'd always, hey, if I had to be in the training room all day, get with, Ronnie Barnes and get with with the training staff and make them, hey, whatever it took to get healthy, I was going to do it. And, if I felt that I could, play and play well enough to win a football game, then I wanted to be out there. And so that was always the mindset, to do everything possible to be out there for my team.
Hi, Eli. You're obviously going to have a lot of time on your hands. I'm curious what you see yourself doing a year from now, what you see yourself doing 5 years from now.
I don't know. I think, these last few weeks as I made this decision, I really didn't think much about going forward. I think a lot of my, time was spent just reflecting on these past 16 years. I talked to a lot of coaches, a lot of former teammates. We had, a lot of laughs, a few cries, just about the great moments. And so I think my focus has been on that. I look forward to a little downtime. I look forward to spending time with my family, coaching Ava's third grade basketball team, assistant coach, and just being involved with my kids and Abby, and getting to do some things that I've missed out on, because of this job and occupation and the dedication I gave to it. So, I think I'm going to take some time and just enjoy it, and then figure out what my next steps are.
Eli, thanks for the class and elegance over the years.
Thanks, Bruce.
Do you think you got closure from that last victory, and did it make the decision easier because that game ended up the way it was, beautifully with the victory at home and everything in the tunnel?
Yeah, as I talked about, that was a special game, and just because, this sport's it's different. It's different than a lot of other sports where you kind of have a farewell tour in baseball or basketball. When you kind of know you're going to retire that season. This year, you don't know what's going to happen, but I think the fact that my contract was up and this was maybe going to be my last start, and to get a win in your home stadium, and to have the crowd and kind of that recognition, I think that was kind of as I said, my farewell. And I think it does help give you a little bit closure and kind of have one last great positive memory that you can kind of remember your last game that you played was a win at home, and the emotions that surrounded that. So I think it did help make this process easier.
Eli, congrats on all your success. John Mara had said that he would welcome you into the organization in some capacity. Have you given any thought to taking on a role within the Giants at some time in the future? Is that something that you would be interested in later on?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be something I'd be interested in. So I just got to, I have to discuss that and talk to Mr. Mara and see in what ways, and I got to think about in what way. I think, again, I'll take some time and just figure out, how I want to spend these next years. But this organization, as I said, so many close friends within the organization, and not just the former teammates, but people in all departments of the organization that have, the faces, they don't change. People don't leave here because of all the wonderful people and the way the organization is run, and they take care of the people here. And so, you do have so many great people that I'd love to be around and be around the people that I call my friends.
What was the last year like for you, being a backup for the first time, and then spending as much time as you did with Daniel? What do you think the future holds for him as the Giants quarterback?
Yeah, I think there's a bright future, and I think there was obviously I try to think of the positive moments and the great memories, and I have a lot of them. I have a lot of fond memories of being in the meeting rooms and being with the coaches and being around Daniel and Alex Tanney in the quarterback room. We had lots of laughs. We have lots of work, great work that we did. So I know Daniel. I appreciate a lot of things about him, and the fact that he loves the game of football. He is passionate about it. He works extremely hard, and so you appreciate those things. If that weren't the case, it might have been harder to kind of go through this situation. But you see the way he conducts himself, and I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, and so do the Giants.
Hi, Eli. Right here. When you look behind you, there's two huge banners with Lombardi trophies. There's Lombardi trophies right next to you. When you look at those, your teammates always talked about your ability to stay calm in the craziest times, and the word often used is clutch. What does clutch mean to you, and why were you able to be that?
I always thought, in those moments in a 2-minute drive or a situation, I think you kind of, there's people have different reactions to certain things, and some people, when they get in that moment, they're scared they might make a mistake or worried about the bad things that could happen and what those outcomes would be and how that might affect them. Where when I get in that situation, I only think about how awesome it's going to be when we go down the field and score this touchdown. And that's the mindset, and that's what you work towards, and you game plan. It's not what are the problems, is what are the plays that are going to work, and what are the plays that are going to be successful, and you have those, and you work them, and you plan for those. And so I think it's the mindset. I think that's contagious around your teammates when they sense that and they feel that, and they, you have new guys that might be in that scenario, but I've been in it before. We've had fourth quarter wins, and so I think they trust in me, and so it's the team coming together and being confident in those scenarios, that they can go out there and everybody can raise their level of play just a little bit more, and so you get that opportunity to go win that game.
Eli, congratulations. You talked earlier about how you wanted to do it your way, and that eventually you believed everyone would come around and appreciate that. Did you always believe that right from the start of your career, or was it at all difficult in the early years?
there's definitely difficult times in the early years. You're struggling as a player sometimes, and you're not winning as many games, and you're dealing with the New York media, and they're harping on you about different things. And so, I think that's the time when you kind of test it, and you just say, I have to stay true and know that the hard work, the dedication, the commitment. You rely on your values and know that they'll get you through those times. And so when you do that, and you see the progress, and you see little steps of getting better and improvement, it verifies it, so you can stay that course. And I think once if you try to become, just because you're maybe struggling, or you've had even the good times, or even the bad times or the good times, if you start changing your ways and start having the outside world affect the way you conduct yourself, the way you act around your friends or your family or teammates, I just don't see there being any positives in that. I'm naturally a quiet guy, but I work hard, and I try to earn the respect from my teammates through my dedication and my hard work. If I tried to be a rah-rah or yelling at people, or it wouldn't be natural. It would be awkward. It would be fake, and that would be sniffed out and come back to haunt me, I think.
Eli, congratulations. You handle the challenge of going to Ole Miss, handling the challenge of being a Manning, and ignoring the trappings of New York. Where did that intestinal fortitude come from?
I think I just, I try to look at the big picture of things, and I try to, get a sense of a place where I'm going to be happy and where it feels right. There's people, that I meet within the organization. Obviously, when I went to Ole Miss, David Cutcliffe was the head coach, and that's someone I trusted and someone I appreciated and someone I knew. And I know that, working with him, he was going to make me a better football player, and that's why I was going to Ole Miss, to be a better football player. When I was interviewing with the Giants, I met with Mr. Mayer and Tom Coughlin and the whole Giants organization, and I saw their commitment to football. I saw their commitment, and just a storied franchise that's what they cared about. They cared about winning games and just putting a great team out there each and every year. And I appreciated that desire, that same commitment. I know I had that same desire about football and would fit well in this organization. And so that's why we made it work, and why I wanted to come here.
Eli, congratulations. Another New York sports icon went into the Hall of Fame this week, Derek Jeter. I'm wondering what you learned from him about handling this market, and also second part would be, what would it mean for you to go into your sports Hall of Fame?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out which one of y'all didn't vote for him. There's only one of you, so I know you're probably in here. Derek was great. He called me my rookie year when we were starting, lost a few games, and he just talked to me about that it would get easier, and just stay the course and be yourself and just keep working, and things do improve. And so we've had a good relationship over the years, and seen him at several things and stayed in touch somewhat. So after that, it was someone who I watched closely on how he conducted himself, how he dealt with the media, how he dealt with fans, how he worked hard, how he stayed humble in all circumstances. After so many championships that he's winning, he was on top of the world. But so I took a lot of notes from how he handled New York, and so he's been a great role model for me all these years. And so and your second question, that's not a concern. I'm my focus now is just reliving the great moments and the great memories with my teammates and my family, and let everything else work out from there.
Eli, congratulations on a successful career, and thank you for all the memories. I would just want to know, what would be your message to future generations of Giant players?
I think my message to all the Giants players is that you're coming to a wonderful organization that truly cares about your well-being, about you, and if you they are committed to doing whatever it takes to put a winning team out there in the field and to bring championships here. And if you can have that same commitment and that same dedication to this organization that they have to you, great things will get accomplished.
Take two more, Corey.
Eli, thanks for everything. If you did not have that game against the Dolphins that Sunday, how different do you think the process would have been leading up to today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's hard to have hypothetical questions and know how it changes. You know, so you know, I'm happy it happened, and I guess I won't try to look back and see how things would have been different if it hadn't.
Last one, and Eli, we'll take one more picture.
Eli, hi, in the back, hi. Tom Brady tweeted just a little while ago wishing you the best in retirement and congratulating you on a great career. He said, not going to lie though, I wish you hadn't won any Super Bowls. Those two moments, of course, will live forever. What, I guess, do you take from perhaps the head-to-head against Tom Brady, but also delivering what a lot of people thought were unlikely championships those 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, I've been around Tom a number of times, and you know, see how competitive he is, and you know, we joke around it a little bit, but I think it's not real funny to him, and so. You know, those are obviously, great. When you think about the great moments in your career, those are going to be at the top of the list when you win championships, and both of them 2-minute drives to go down there and win it, and one against an undefeated team that had lost all year, and so I think those are special. But it's not, I think everybody wants to make it, me versus Tom Brady. It's the Giants versus the Patriots. Our defense has played outstanding. Guys made plays. David Tyree, Mario Manningham, Plaxico Burress in the corner of the end zone. So just you like I said, you just cherish those moments. You cherish those relationships that you have with those teammates and coaches when you win those games. And those are that's obviously why you play for. You play for the opportunity to win a championship. You realize how hard it is, how difficult, and all the breaks that have to go your way, and that you got to overcome to get to those scenarios. And so, those are special ones that fortunately you get to kind of relive those moments through your friends.
Last one.
Eli, first of all, congratulations. Obviously, this was a tough decision. What was the best advice that you were given, and who gave it to you?
About this decision?
Correct, yes.
I talked to a lot of people. I taught, Peyton. I relied on Peyton a lot just because obviously the similarities and going through a career and trying to decide, how it ended. I talked to him a lot about, when he, changed franchises from the Colts to Denver and how that affected him. And it was a little different scenario, but just, wanted to talk to him a lot about that. I talked to coaches and teammates and just trying to, get their ideas, guys who had left organizations and learned a couple things. And from the guys who played here at the Giants and when, happened to leave and go other places, they all said the kind of same thing. It's not the same other places. It's different. And then, I think it was just, a lot of people said, hey, sit on it, think of it, don't rush into any decisions. I might have rushed it a little bit just because I knew it was the right thing to do. I know 100%. I'm not going to regret this. When I make a decision, I commit to it and make it the right decision. And this is it. This is the right one. And it's an honor to have played here 16 years and to have only played here.
All right, Tim Ball.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Take one more photo.